How's it going, guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of The Theme Park Shark. If you're new to our channel, we'd just like to thank you for stopping by, and if you just so happen to like this video, we'd like to kindly ask for you to hit that subscribe button and drop a like at the conclusion of this video. But for now, we're going to take a look at 5 more, and we're not going to necessarily call them secrets, but just 5 more really cool facts and things you might not have realized about Jurassic World the Ride at Universal Studios Hollywood. So, without further ado, let's jump into 5 more. Number 5, Universal Studios Hollywood's time to shine. Now, something that the casual theme park goer probably doesn't know or maybe even cares about is the fact that this was one of Universal Studios Hollywood's creative team. This was one of the first time that they were able to take the complete lead on a project. For the most part, Orlando was kind of hands-off with this attraction. Orlando handles the majority of what Universal Studios pumps up. I mean, even Mark Woodbury and Terry Coop were very hands-on with Fast and Furious, and that was an attraction that came to Hollywood in our tram iteration before it actually hit as supercharged in Orlando. So even though that was a Hollywood first project, Orlando was still very hands-on with that. From what I understand and from what I've heard about this attraction, that doesn't seem to be true. So this was almost like a proving point for the Hollywood team. This was essentially the Universal Studios Hollywood team's baby, and this was their chance at a full-on attraction. Now, I'm sure they have held the lead on a few other attractions in the past. John Carfino, who is one of the top executives here in Hollywood, and he was even in the Jurassic World promo video for just talking about the ride and things like that. He handled designing Springfield, among many other things within the Hollywood park. So they have done things that are specific to Hollywood, even though there is Springfield and Orlando, but just like the overall design's a little different. So they have handled things that are specific, but from what I understand and what I've been told, this was their chance to really prove themselves. This was a chance for the Hollywood team to really take the reins on a full attraction to this level. Number 4, John Hammond and InGen in the queue. Now, something you're not going to notice unless you're paying a lot of attention, and if you're one of the people that while you're in line actually likes to watch the videos and listen to them and not just, talk with your friends and let everything else kind of play in the background, as a lot of people do. But if you're one of the very few who does like to listen in and kind of find those Easter eggs. In the last video, I mentioned that on ride, I didn't really notice a whole lot of Easter eggs or throwbacks to the original that you're not really supposed to notice. But in the queue, if you listen really, really hard, there are some throwbacks to John Hammond and InGen. Number 3, the original falling Raptor. Now, I mentioned that I didn't really find a lot of Easter eggs on ride, but if you want to just go with something that was a complete, throwback to the original ride, something that's not, completely obvious and in your face, like the Stegosaurus Spring area, as you're going up the actual major lift hill, make sure to keep your eyes open for the very end of that hill, right before you get into the drop into the jungle scene. There is one of the original Raptors still popping out from the ceiling and being very threatening to the boat. So this is something to keep your eyes on, a nice little fun another homage to the original ride, and I don't know, I enjoyed it and figured it was worth telling you guys to kind of keep your eyes peeled for. Number 2, the Hill TVs. Now, this was something on my first ride through that was very jarring to me. As I was going up the original lift hill, I think I was still very much in the mood of the original Jurassic Park ride. And in the original Jurassic Park ride, once you're in this lift hill, you've been bumped over into like an electrical plant area that you're not really supposed to be in. So until I rode this ride a few times and began to truly understand the storyline, I was a little confused as to if we're in an area where we're not supposed to be, why are there these TVs on the lift hill where they can casually feed in Chris Pratt yelling at us? I didn't really understand that. But after a few ride-throughs, I realized that the area that we go into now is actually an area that we're supposed to be in. It's completely a part of this Jurassic World tour that they're trying to tell us that we're on. This is the Indominus Rex area, and I guess where the T-Rex was also kind of caged over, and that's why this is called Predator Cove. It's literally a place, a part of the tour that just happened to go wrong. There's no getting bumped off course in this ride, which I was a little confused by because the dinosaur in the water that does bump you off course in the original ride is still there and still has the same movement out of the water It's just, I guess, even though it's still doing the same thing, it's no longer bumping you off course. I don't know. It's very weird because it's the exact same experience. It's just not. So I could dive into that for quite a long time. But point number 2 is once you're going up those major lift hills, there are TVs everywhere. They're feeding Chris Pratt. And the first time I went up them, I said, this is silly. This is cheesy. I mean, they literally tried to find a way to get him in here via TV screen, and this is how they're doing it. This is ridiculous. Why would this park just have, 8 or 9 flat screen TVs on this hill? This makes absolutely no sense. But on a few ride-throughs doing it, I realized that those TVs are actually there to represent, I guess, some sort of fun facts about the dinosaurs that you're seeing in that area. Because if you really pay attention and look at them, the TVs where Chris Pratt hasn't fed himself into yet, there's actually like a T-Rex and it's like kind of talking about him and things like that. So it's interesting, especially if you didn't really catch that the first ride-through. On your next ride-through, take a hard look at the TVs that haven't been switched over to Chris yet. It's a cool little thing to kind of pay attention to and say, oh, okay, this is how they tried to tie in the story. It's very cool, it's very subtle, and you won't notice unless you've seen this video. Number 1, the cast boat. So if you are a heavy fan of the Jurassic IP, I'm going to give you a little secret. The next time that you are at Universal Studios Hollywood and you go on this ride, you might want to make a request for boat number 2. If you can so happen to get on boat number 2 in the back, this is the exact spot where Bryce, Dallas, Howard, and Chris Pratt got to experience Jurassic World the Ride on the opening day celebration. So if you are a very big fan of the IP and you want to experience this attraction in the exact spot where some of the major cast members of the movie experience this attraction, make sure to get in boat number 2 and sit in the back. So that is going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of the Theme Park Shark. We hope you enjoyed another, top 5 or another 5 video. We always enjoy making them, and you guys seem to be really liking them based on your comments and feedback on the last one, so we definitely enjoy making them for you guys. If you did like this video, don't forget to leave those comments. We love reading them and responding to all of you guys. Leave us a like, and please hit us with that subscribe. We have a podcast as well on iTunes that we would love for you guys to check out. It's also on Spotify and Google Podcasts. So if you get a chance to check us out on there, we'd love to have you. So that's going to wrap things up, guys. We are going to see all of you in the next video. We'll catch you guys then.